We got more green candlesticks for XLM and XRP, and it all has to do with the forward-looking comments from Jerome Powell and the Fed. The UK inflation is super high as well, but they came out with a 50 basis point hit rather than a 25. Let's talk pricing of our favorite two, XRP and XLM. That's right, Daddy is back, and they came out with a 25 basis point hit, and thank you to the over 2,600 of you that participated and watched that live stream where we broke down the information live. Let's get to the heat map, and then we're going to start talking XLM, XRP pricing, and the forward outlook from Jerome Powell, the Fed, and UK inflation. Bitcoin right now, we're almost at 24,000, 23,940, up 3% in the last 24 hours. ETH, big mover here, 1679, up 6%. XRP highlight of the show, 41.3, and XLM right now sitting at 9.3, up 6% last 24 hours. Got the charts here. We're going to get to them and explain the big action that's going on. But first, Bank of England raises key rate by 50 basis points to 4%, suggests peak rates by mid-year. All right, so it's not just the United States, right? It's the Bank of England that's going through this action as well. And here's a chart, all right? And what we have to start thinking about with the price of XRP, XLM, more green candlesticks, more weekly, more daily green candlesticks, has to do with UK inflation coming down. All right, you've seen it run up to this peak right here, but it has not really come down, right? How quickly it went up, it's not coming down as quickly. It's kind of leveling off a little bit, where if we compare that to the United States, you can see that right here, right? We went up quick, but we went down super fast, right? So the UK is lagging behind the US a couple months in inflation-wise, and also the UK has had stronger, higher inflation than the United States. So now what do we have in terms of dates? Now, the UK did their rate hike, right, one day after the US. Well, the US's next CPI data, which the Fed even said, all right, and this is part of the thing. Jerome Powell came out and said, hey, look, CPI data is still where it's at. Jobs are still too high too. Wages are still too high. But he said CPI data still rules the roost. So when's the next CPI data? Valentine's Day. And men, don't you have that excuse that you forgot, because we're going to be talking about Valentine's Day now for the next couple weeks leading up to the event. That's right. So the US is on Valentine's Day. What day then do you think the UK's would be on? The 15th. That's right, the next day, the day after Valentine's Day. So what we want to look at is we want to start clawing back to this FTX action right here. And realistically, to get past that, we got to be at 46, 47 on up to 50 for XRP. And for XLM, same idea. To get back from the FTX action, we got to be looking closer to 11.5, 12. So we still got a ways to go for XLM and XRP. Now, that being said, what we're trying to pay close attention to is floor support. We want to see all of these candlesticks finish at or above this 9-cent mark for XLM and at or above 40 cents for XRP, all right? CPI data comes out juicy, right? We're talking below 6.0. Markets will continue on green, because that means Jerome Powell and the Fed are probably going to come out with just another soft 25, then another 25, and then maybe they could back off for a month or two. Jerome Powell even said on the mic, hey, look, we got to see also what happens. There's a lag effect to our rate hikes, okay? So what happens sometimes takes some time, and the Fed acknowledges that. And remember, these 25 basis point hit right now, remember, we had 50s and 75s. Remember, we had 3 75s in a row, which just rocked the market. But now that we've softened up to the 25, and now that the Fed said, hey, look, things are looking better, well, you're seeing that as well. All right, so some of the big things that we have to keep in mind. It's not just going to be UK inflation. It's not just going to be US inflation. It's going to be those forward-looking statements. 3 weeks from now, the Fed is going to come out with their notes and everything like that, okay? So 3 weeks from the Fed's meeting was the 1st, okay? So that puts us to the 22nd of February, right here, just a few days after CPI. That gives us kind of the behind the scenes, the more juicy deets of what the people in the Fed were talking about, what they were thinking voting on rate hike-wise. I'd be very curious to see how many of them were still leaning on the 50. Think if China comes in, right, opening their economy, increases demand, but supply is not increasing, but it increases demand, that can keep prices high. If wages are still high, if employment rates are still high, then those are a lot of things that can mess up the supply and demand thing. So, like I said, if that supply and demand thing comes out of whack, then yep, the Fed has to come in and stay aggressive with these rate hikes. But right now, you're seeing the market price in optimism. It looks as if we are behind the worst. And yes, with Bitcoin approaching 24,000, ETH approaching 17, those two are leading the charge and letting the rest of the market come right back with it as small liquidity flows in. But hey, it's still causing green candlesticks. And that's something I wanted to highlight as well. The volume that's been driving this action since the beginning of the year is very, very small. So any floor support that we have created is not held up by a lot of money. The other thing is too, TVL liquidity pools is nowhere near what it used to be. The majority of liquidity pools, TVLs, are down 75% from their peak. Venture capital money is sitting on the sideline, as well as big institutional grade money sitting on the sideline, waiting for more regulations. Here's the problem, everyone. Regs are taking a while. Court cases, that's the only thing right now giving us any sort of regulatory action, right, through the judicial branch. Court cases are giving us more of an outline than the regs are. So that leaves the focus on macros, CPI data, and how central banks across the globe react to that data. England hitting it with 50 basis points. Why? Their inflation was higher than the United States, and it's not coming down as fast as the US's. Again, that makes stuff out there in England for those citizens more expensive. Since retail is the only thing fueling this, that's why it's low volume, everyone, because especially with VC money sitting on the sideline, but with retail fueling this, it's a very soft floor that we're dealing with both XRP and XLM. Now, ecosystem right here. You want to know ecosystem about stellar action? Watch this video right here. It gives you a very different look on how we can use data to make the stellar XLM ecosystem even better and stronger for all of us. Thank you very much for watching and the various levels of support. I am humbled by it all. Again, thank you from me to you. Now, until more news breaks, you cool cats, have a great rest of your day.